Okay, this is the Grinch who stole Christmas. How the Grinch stole Christmas. Now, you are all the Who's down in Whoville, okay? And this story is about you all. Okay, let me turn on.
Oh, come here, baby. Come here. Come sit down in your rocker.
Can you take some pictures? Still. Okay. Oh, y'all are such a good audience. Okay, ready? Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, that his shoes were too tight. But I think the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small.
No, Colt.
But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes,
Casson, come here, baby. Come here.
he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, Grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town, for he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath.
Right on your head.
Your first one.
And they're hanging their stockings.
He snarled with a sneer.
Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here.
Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming.
I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming.
For tomorrow, he knew all the Who boys and girls would wake bright and early, and they'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise. That's one thing he hated. The noise, noise, noise. Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast. And they'd feast, feast, feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beef, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand and the Who's would start singing. We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Then they'd sing and sing and sing. And the more Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought,
I must stop this Christmas from coming. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how?
Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea.
I know just what to do.
The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and coat. And he chuckled and clucked.
What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I'll look just like Saint Nick.
All he needed was one thing.
All I need is a reindeer.
The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch?
No!
No! No! The Grinch simply said,
If I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead.
so he called his dog,
Max!
Then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on the top of his head.
Good little doggy.
Then he loaded up some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said,
Giddy up!
and the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Who's lay snooze in the town. All the windows were dark. White snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square,
This is stop number 1.
the old Grinchy cloth kissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row.
These stockings
He said,
are the first things to go.
then he slithered and slunk, with a smile most unpleasant, around the whole room, and he took every present. Popguns, bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn, and plums. And he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch, very numbly, stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimney.
I know what's happening later. Bags.
Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beef. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash, while that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee.
And now,
Grinned the Grinch.
I will stuff up the tree.
And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove. When he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove, he turned around fast and he saw a small Who that walked onto the middle of the room. And little Cindy Lou Who was not more than 2. And the Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter who'd been out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said,
Santa, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?
but you know, that old Grinch was so smart and so slick that he thought of a lie and he thought it up quick.
Why, my sweet little tot?
The fake Santa Claus lied.
There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side, so I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here.
And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head and he got her a drink and he sent her to bed. And when little Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Little Cindy Lou Who went on straight back to bed because the fib fooled her. Then the last thing he took was the log for the fire. Then he went up himself to the chimney. Himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. It was 1/4 dawn, all the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a snooze, when he packed up his sled. He packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet. He rode to the load to the tip top to dump it. The stop it. Who to the who?
Boo-hoo to the Who's down in Whoville.
He was graciously humming. They were going to find out.
That no Christmas is coming.
They were just waking up.
Listening to their sounds.
And he said, I know just what they'll do. Their mouths.
Will hang open for a minute or two.
Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry.
Boo-hoo!
That was a sound. That noise, grinned the Grinch, that is a sound I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound raising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. And that sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. He shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling.
How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without bags. It came without stockings, songlings or sags.
And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before.
Maybe Christmas is more than just presents.
Maybe it's a little bit more.
Daddy,
And what happened then?
Dada.
Well, in Whoville, they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back all the toys and the food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast.
Yay! Good job! Yay!
Now we'd like all of our actors to come take a bow. The Grinch, who is Daddy Joe Bob.
Did y'all know it was me?
And did y'all know that little Cindy Lou Who? Who was little Cindy Lou Who?
Who's this, Rylan?
Daffy!
Yeah.
Yay!
And what about the little Who's?
And oh yes, we have the little boy, girl, and boy Who's. Would all the little girl and boy Who's come up here?
Go see Dee Dee.
And
Go see
take
Dee
a
Dee.
bow?
Go see
Come here.
Dee Dee.
Come here, all the little.
Here, come wear the hat. You can wear the hat.
All the little Who's down in Whoville. Caston and Colt, y'all want to come? Y'all did so good ringing
Scared of
your
Cindy.
bells.
They're all scared of Pappy.
And then we have some big Who's, one really big Who.
Yeah. Triple
That's
big.
gonna have some little Who's real quick.
You did
So,
great.
thank y'all for watching our show.
Yay!
Now, we have one other thing before we eat.
And the mama.
And the mommy, that's right.
Yay. Hey y'all. Hi.
Say bye-bye. Daddy,
Yes, ma'am.
you actually have to look at your puppy.
Oh, let me see who's my puppy. Oh, hi Max.
Uh-oh, Max is,
Oh, can you take his reindeer out?
put it
All
on
right.
the
Y'all say bye-bye. Bye. Love y'all. Until next year.
Yeah, until next
See ya.
How many want to do this?